Hey everyone! Today I will be giving a demo of an awesome Form Builder plus CRUD application available for free, built using AppScript, Vue 3, Element Plus, and Google Sheets as the database. The application is divided into two parts. The admin side lets you build forms by dragging and dropping fields and configure application preferences. The user side is a complete CRUD application that automatically renders based on the schema created by the admin and stores data in the spreadsheet. Before we start, please subscribe to my channel. That support helps me keep publishing free projects like this one. Let's begin. I've opened the admin site of our application. You'll notice the admin URL, which is restricted to the spreadsheet owner, and I'm now on the Form Builder interface. This is the Google spreadsheet that this application is connected to. The Application Schemas tab contains all the schemas generated by the builder. The remaining application tabs will be created automatically when you generate and save the schemas. Let's go back to the application. On the left is the sidebar containing the field palette, application schema selection, and quick actions. On the right is the drop zone, where we build our form, reorder fields with drag handles, and configure each field. At the very top, there's a clean header. When saving, loading, or deleting, you'll also see a subtle loading indicator to keep you informed of background operations. On the left, under Application Schemas, I can pick an existing application schema by name. This dropdown is powered by the Application Schemas sheet behind the scenes. Selecting a schema instantly loads its fields and preferences so you can switch between multiple apps without leaving the page. Below that is the Field Types palette. Each card represents a field like text, email, password, number, text area, dropdown, radio, checkbox, date, file, image, link, and a custom price input. I simply click and drag a field card into the drop zone to add it to my form. Once a field is in the form, I can press the left drag handle to reorder it. Every field has quick actions to edit or delete, so refining your form structure is fast and visual. When I edit a field, a modern configuration dialog opens with common properties like the field name, key, label, placeholder, default value, helper text, and a required flag. Changing the field type updates the set of type-specific properties. For example, a number field exposes min, max, and step. A drop-down or radio field lets me enter options in a quick list. A date field can take date constraints. File and image fields wire into Google Drive for uploads, so end users can attach documents or images right from the CRUD app, and those assets are stored in an attachments folder next to your spreadsheet and Drive with a ready-to-use URL. The custom price field includes currency and locale-related controls so your amounts look consistent and professional in the UI. I can save my changes to the field and immediately see them reflected in the preview and schema. Let me quickly build a real-world example to show you how smooth this builder is. I'll create a product catalog management form that a small business might use. Watch how fast this comes together. I drag a text field for the product name, then an email field for supplier contact, a number field for stock quantity, and a text area for product description. I grab a select field for electronics, clothing, home and garden, and a radio group for condition, new, refurbished, used. A checkbox for features like eco-friendly and made in USA. I add a date picker for the launch date, a file upload for the product manual PDF, and an image upload for the product photo, a link field for the product website, and finally, a custom price field for the retail cost. In under a minute, I've built a comprehensive product management form with every field type. The builder handles the complexity seamlessly. Each field gets a unique name, proper labels, and the right validation rules. I can see the form taking shape in real time as I drag and drop. Now I'll set the overall application preferences. In the App Preferences tab, I define the application name that appears for users, the target sheet name where records will be stored, and defaults like currency and locale. The Preview tab gives me a lifelike rendering of the form using Element Plus components. I can quickly verify field labels, placeholders, options, and required validations. As I tweak properties in the builder, the preview updates so I see the end-user experience before I publish. The Schema tab shows the full JSON definition of my app, including fields and preferences. This is helpful if you want to audit or back up the exact configuration. It's the same structure the user app consumes to render the table and forms. When everything looks good, I hit Save. A brief overlay communicates saving application schema, and I'm done. When I save my schema, the backend writes a row into the application schema sheets. And if the target data sheet doesn't exist, it gets created for me with an ID column plus a header for every form field. This ensures the user-facing CRUD app knows exactly where to read and write. If at any point I want a brand new form, I can start a new schema, which clears the canvas and resets preferences. If I need to remove the latest saved schema entirely, I can delete it. The interface provides clear confirmation prompts so destructive actions aren't accidental. Let's switch to the user application. This is the front end that end users will interact with. At the top, you'll see a horizontal menu that lists every application schema by its application name. This makes it easy to run multiple mini-apps from the same deployment. The main content area shows a card with the app name and an Add Record button. There's a built-in search bar where I can type to filter records across all columns. The search is debounced to feel responsive and shows how many records match. Below that is a fast, virtualized table powered by Element Plus Table v2, which is great for performance when your Google Sheet grows. Columns are generated automatically from the schemas fields, including the right-aligned operations column with edit and delete actions. Let's go to the application that we just added in the form builder. I'll add a new record to show the dynamic form experience. Clicking Add Record opens a dialog with a form generated entirely from the schema. Required fields are enforced with inline messages. For selects and radios, options come directly from what I entered in the builder. For file and image fields, I can pick a local file, it is uploaded behind the scenes to Google Drive, and the form captures the resulting URL, which the table later displays as an open link or a thumbnail image depending on the field type. I'll fill out a few values and submit. The app shows a quick success state and closes the dialog, and my new record appears in the table immediately. Let me show that to you in the spreadsheet. And here you can see the newly added record. Let me show you the uploaded image and file. And here you can see the uploaded image. Editing a record works the same way. I click Edit, the form opens pre-populated with the selected row's values, I make changes, and submit. The sheet is updated and the UI refreshes to reflect the edits. Deleting prompts for confirmation to prevent mistakes, and once confirmed, the record is removed from the sheet and the table. Behind the scenes, each application writes to its own target sheet with an auto-incrementing ID in the first column, so your data stays tidy and each record can be referenced uniquely. The formatting is smart too. Emails render as clickable mail to links, dates are human-friendly, checkboxes display a clear visual state, links open in a new tab, and images show neat thumbnails so you can scan a dataset quickly. If I switch to another app from the top menu, the table, search, and forms automatically reconfigure to the selected schema without a page reload. This enables a multi-app experience in a single deployment where application schemas becomes your catalog of small business workflows. The overall flow is intentionally minimal for end users. Pick the app, search or browse, add or edit records, attach files when needed, and trust that everything is persisting directly to Google Sheets. The admin never has to hand code forms or tables. Updating the schema in the builder is all it takes to change the user UI. That's the end-to-end experience. The admin builder empowers you to design forms and preferences visually with drag and drop, preview the result, and save a schema that becomes the single source of truth. The user front reads that schema, renders a modern CRUD interface with search and validation, and writes to your spreadsheet. File and image uploads go to Drive, and the data table stays clean and fast even as your dataset grows. Now that you've seen how the workflows and UI come together, let's deploy this as a real web app and test both the admin front and the user front. Start by making a copy of the Google spreadsheet from the link in the description. Open that copied sheet and go to Extensions, then AppScript, which will open the attached project with our code.js and the front-end files. From the AppScript editor, click Deploy and choose New Deployment. Select Web App as the deployment type, add a brief description, and set Execute as To Me so the app runs with your account's privileges. For who has access, choose anyone with the link if you want external users to interact with the user-facing CRUD app without needing editor access to the spreadsheet itself. Click Deploy. It will then ask for authorization. Go ahead and grant all the necessary permission. After the deployment completes, you'll receive the web app URL. Copy it. If you ever need it again, you'll find the same link under Deploy, Manage Deployments, open the current deployment, and copy the web app URL there. With the web app URL in hand, we'll open both faces of the app. The default URL serves the user-facing front, so you can paste the web app URL into a new tab to land directly on the CRUD application. To open the admin builder, append the query string p=formBuilder to that same base URL. Drag in a few fields, set your application name and target sheet name in App Preferences. You can preview the exact end-user experience in the Preview tab and verify the JSON in the Schema tab. And click Save Schema. The backend records your configuration in the Application Schemas sheet and ensures a dedicated data sheet exists with an ID column followed by one column per field. When the save completes, you can immediately switch over to the user app to see it live. Now open the user front with the base web app URL. The top menu will list all application schemas from the Application Schemas sheet. Select the one you just created. The table renders with columns taken from your schema, the search bar filters records in real time, and the Add Record button opens the dynamic form. Try entering data across different field types and submit. The new row appears instantly. Editing a record reopens the same form pre-filled, and deleting a record confirms before removing it from the sheet. Because the deployment runs as you, end users do not need direct spreadsheet access. Your deployment performs CRUD on their behalf, and you retain control over the underlying data. If you make code changes later, return to Deploy, Manage Deployments, and either edit the existing deployment or create a new version. After redeploying, refresh the admin and user URLs to pick up the latest UI and logic. As a final tip, keep the spreadsheet shared privately and distribute only the user-facing URL widely. Use the builder URL yourself to iterate on the schema, save, and then ask your users to refresh their page to see the updates.
Hey everyone, now let me give you a code base overview. Since the application consists of an admin front end and a user front, we have two entry files in the front end. The admin interface is rendered from index.html, and the user CRUD application is rendered from userindex.html. Both are standard AppScript HTML templates that use the include helper to stitch together partials, styles, and composables into a cohesive app. On the admin side, index.html pulls in Vue3, Element plus UI, and Sortable.js from CDNs, and includes main.html for styling. The body mounts a Vue app with an Element plus layout. The header shows a top menu, and the main area hosts tabbed content for the builder, preferences, preview, and schema. The builder UI is composed from several included components. The sidebar comes from sidebar.html inside the Components folder, which shows the application schemas dropdown using data from sheets and action buttons to start a new schema, save, or delete. The drag-and-drop canvas is formbuilder.html. It renders the drop zone where you place and reorder fields, showing live previews of each field type. Editing any field opens fieldeditmodal.html, a rich configuration dialog with common and type-specific properties wired to the builder state. Application-wide settings such as app name, target sheet name, currency, and locale live in preferences.html. To validate the end-user experience visually, preview.html renders an interactive preview of the current field set using Element Plus inputs. For transparency, schemaoutput.html displays the entire schema JSON that will be saved. Beneath those components, the admin entry includes the composables and the app shell script in a specific order. UseTableColumns.html is available for consistency with table logic, though the admin mostly uses builder state. UseSchemaStore.html is the key data layer for schemas. It talks to the backend via google.script.run to save the current schema, load the latest one, list all schemas from the application schemas sheet, and delete by name. It manages operation states such as loading and error flags for the UI. UseFormBuilder.html holds the reactive state for the builder itself. The list of available field types and their attributes, the current form fields, application metadata like application name and target sheet name, drag and drop handlers, and the logic to edit, validate, and persist field edits. Finally, JSView.html is the admin app shell. It wires up Element Plus icons, initializes sortable on the form field container so you can reorder with the left drag handle, composes a computed form schema from builder state, and exposes handler functions for saving, loading, deleting, creating new schemas, and for switching among schemas selected in the sidebar. This script acts as the glue between the UI components and the composables, ensuring the admin workflow is smooth and reactive. Switching to the user front, userindex.html also loads View and Element Plus, includes userstyles.html, and mounts a View app with a clean header and main content. The header is an Element Plus menu that is dynamically populated with every application schema found in the Application Schemas sheet, letting users switch apps on the fly. The main area renders CRUD-table.html, which shows the app name, an add record button, a debounded search input, and a high-performance L-table v2 powered data grid that's built from the active schema. When a record is added or edited, dynamic form.html appears inside an Element Plus dialog, and the form is generated entirely from the selected schema, so fields, validations, and defaults are always in sync with the admin's configuration. The user front also includes a focused set of composables and one controller script. UseSchemaStore.html is reused to load all schemas and set the active one. UseDataStore.html provides CRUD wrappers that call google.script.run with add, update, delete, and get all, reading and writing to the schema's target sheet name. It also exposes get all sheet data to hydrate the app with all sheets and upload file to send attachments to the back end. UseFormatters.html renders cell content by field type, formatting emails, dates, checkboxes, links, images, files, and prices, so the table is legible. UseTableColumns.html maps schema fields into Element Plus table columns and adds an operations column for edit and delete actions. UseDynamicForm.html builds the form UI programmatically using View's H function, choosing appropriate Element Plus inputs per field and handling submission by delegating to the data store's Add New Record or Update Record. UseSearch.html implements a simple debounced search pipeline that filters current data for the active schema. Bringing this together, UserScripts.html is the user app controller.
It loads all schemas, maintains the active selection, handles add, edit, and delete actions, wires the dialog visibility, initializes form data from records, and implements upload attachment using a file reader to send base64 to the backend, receive a drive URL, and store it in the form data. On the back end, code.js is the AppScript server that renders pages and exposes functions to the front end. The doGet router chooses which page to load based on the p query parameter, serving index.html for the builder and userindex.html for the user app. Schema lifecycle functions include SaveForm schema, which persists the JSON to script properties under application schema, writes a row in the application schema sheet, and ensures the data sheet exists with headers via createSheetWithHeaders. Retrieval and cleanup happen through getApplicationSchema and deleteLatestForm schema. The multi-app approach is supported by all application schemas to list saved schemas and delete application schema by name. The user data side is handled by executeAction, which calls into the ORM to add, update, delete, or fetch data from sheets, defaulting the sheet name to the current schema's target if not provided. For attachments and images, uploadFile decodes the base64 payload, creates or finds an attachments folder adjacent to the spreadsheet, saves the file in Drive, and returns a public URL that the UI can render. The helper enables server-side inclusion of partials, and getAllSheet data is available to load every sheet's content except the application schemas registry. The data access layer lives in ORM.js, a simple sheet-backed ORM with create, read all, read by ID, update by ID, delete by ID, and get next ID to auto-increment record IDs and align with the ID then fields header layout. Putting it all together, the admin journey starts in index.html and flows through sidebar, builder, preferences, preview, and schema view, orchestrated by jsview.html and powered by useFormBuilder and useSchemaStore, with saves and loads handled by the AppScript backend. The user journey starts in userindex.html, where user scripts coordinate schema selection, data loading, table configuration, search, and dynamic forms. CRUD operations go through useDataStore to the backend's executeAction and ORM, while file and image uploads go to Drive via uploadFile, and the UI renders formatted values via useFormatters. The sheets-based application schemas registry and per-app target sheets are the single sources of truth that keep both fronts in sync without manual wiring.
That's it for the codebase overview. You can find all the relevant links in the description below. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.